Okay, I know I literally just dropped a video like 2 days ago about the shoe, about the water fountain himself, Travis Scott's new record, either Mirage or Jack Boys 2 or Huncho Jack 2, but now we got a new Complex cover with him with obviously an accompanied interview that does shed some light on this. It's very interesting. Let's talk about this today, so let's jump straight into this. If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip-hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description. Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 10 seconds into the future, but you can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and recaps everything that's been happening in hip-hop over the past week, so make sure to do that. So after we talked about Huncho Jack 2 and about how that album really is getting teased by Quavo quite a bunch over the past couple of months, and obviously about Travis' new record, Mirage, at least that's what fans are calling it right now, basing it, obviously, we talked about this, on the theory that you can kind of tell what the next record is going to be called by the merch from the previous record that you can buy on the tour from the previous record. We've had this with Utopia during the Astroworld tour, and now people are thinking it's Mirage from the Utopia merch because that's what it says on a shirt. But we talked about this 2 days ago. Now, in the meantime, yesterday, we got a new interview with Complex. He actually did a Complex cover. Looks pretty cool. You can check out the entire story if you go to Complex. But the interesting part is the interview. They talk about quite a lot of things. It's really, most of it is not that interesting for the music unless you're really like a fan that likes to get into the behind the scenes of where Travis' head is at creatively. But we're going to focus on the stuff where he actually talks about music, or at least where it is directly relevant. But obviously, if you want to read the entire thing, I'll have it linked in the description. So this article is called Primetime Travis Scott Cover Story. Travis Scott shook up the sound of rap and reshaped the sneaker world as he steps into a new era. Can he take over everything else too? Hinting at new era, looks pretty good. This was by Eric Skelton. Credit where credit is due. Now let's start with the most interesting questions, obviously. So this is even in the introduction before they go into the conversation, but in this case I wanted to reference this because, as you can tell, it says right here, in 2025 he's consumed by stadium dreams, and as he enters a new album era, he's working on larger than life music that's designed to fill the world's largest stages. So there's a pretty good sign that he's talked to them also behind the scenes about new music, also about a new tour. They're talking about filling the world's largest stages. And then he says, as he prepares, Travis has been locking himself in the studio. Every day, all night, man, he says. I'm so excited. I got something special on the way for the fans, and I feel like it's time to deliver for them. Several times during our conversation, he gets so amped up that he stands and walks around the room as he outlines his plans for 2025. He certainly doesn't look bored. I think that's good news if we're being honest, and the fact that he says he's locked in all day, all night, usually is also pretty good. He's then asked, is this a signal of a new era for you? This was later on in the conversation. Sometimes the context is a little altered, but he answered to this, I mean, yeah, I put out Utopia a year and a half ago, so I'm definitely into a new vibe of making music. Also pretty good because it still feels unreal that Utopia was 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years at this point, but he's right, it's been some time and it should now be time for him to step into a newer era. He says, right now too, I'm super into producing, making the beats again and getting the sound back. I'm making beats and music for other people and even for myself, so I'm lining all of that up. I'm excited for Jack Boys and my new album and Shaq's new album. So here he's also directly saying that there is these multiple new albums. He's saying Jack Boys 2 that's coming up, and his new album, Mirage, what we're calling it until he actually gives us another official name or we get it from some other source. He also references Shaq's new album. He doesn't reference Huncho Jack 2. Maybe, sorry Quavo, that's even not that important to him right now. But this is, pretty important. This is what we've been talking about for a very long time now. He was then asked, what's exciting you the most in the studio these days? And he says, I've been really into beat making because I think a lot of beats are kind of the same. Like you're hearing a lot of the same beats and the same drums. So that process of beat making is what makes it exciting to make the songs. Also then saying that he's going to have heavy production on his own record coming up in the future. You can see this as a good sign, as a bad sign. Sometimes Travis is really better off if there's somebody that's at least overlooking the entire process, like a Mike Dean, like maybe a Rick Rubin, even though he's not the technical guy, but he's someone creatively that can push him in the right direction. Hopefully he has these people in his corner right now, because sometimes it's not always for the best if you're only producing your own stuff. But in Travis' case, I mean, he's done some crazy stuff in the past, so I'm not even doubting him. Then he was asked, Days Before Rodeo turned 10 last year, and when you re-released it on streaming, it immediately went #1. This was obviously something we reported on quite a bunch as well. What was it like seeing something you made 10 years ago still resonate so deeply? And he says, it's crazy, it's just the fans holding it down. That mixtape changed a lot for me. I still perform Mamacita to this day. Drugs You Should Try is one of my favorite songs that I ever did. I think everybody agrees. It's amazing to see people hold on to it that long, even though I never put it out on streaming services or sold the CDs. And then he was asked, this is the actually exciting stuff, will we ever see your first mixtape, Pharaoh, on streaming? Something that fans have been demanding ever since Days Before Rodeo got on a streaming. And he said, yeah, definitely, for sure. I'm just thinking about the right time for that. So Pharaoh is coming to streaming. That's the big news. That is actually really cool. Now, one last thing I did want to show y'all. He was asked, when you think about your plans for 2025, what are you most excited about? And he says, I'm excited about putting 4 wheels on the road if you can catch that drift. Maybe saying that he's just going to go ahead, make new stuff, or going on tour. Let me know how you interpret that. And then he says, I'm excited about new music. Utopia was an ultra passion for me because I had to get that creativity off. And I'm glad it's lasted as long as it lasted. People are seeing it through. And for this next album, I just want to have the most ultimate fun with being creative. The most ultimate fun. Taking all the things I learned and packing it in the CD and making it enjoyable to go crazy in the stadiums. That is the idea. I mean, that's also pretty good news, the fact that he's saying he wants to go ahead in 2025. At this point, judging from the stuff he's saying, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see like his solo album release in 2025 as well. But obviously, let me know what y'all think about this. But Jack Boys 2 is probably coming for sure. I mean, that's pretty much set right now, even though we still got to get an official confirmation. So I think very interesting interview. A lot of the stuff he's touched on, like Pharaoh coming to streaming, very, very excited. Him getting into a new era of making music as well. I did also want to point out that he also did a video for Complex talking about cars and sneakers. This is, a lot of people said it in the comments under the YouTube video as well. This is the closest thing we've gotten to a Travis interview in years. But they're not really talking about music, so it wasn't even that valuable of a resource to pull from for making this video. But in case you're interested, with him and Joe LaPuma sitting in the car talking about stuff like that, you can go check it out. But they really don't talk about the music. That's why I didn't include it here. But this is very interesting. I mean, this is some pretty cool news. This is the big interview we got. As I said, a lot more discussed in the full-length interview. Do let me know what y'all think about this. Do let me know what y'all think about the stuff that he said about Pharaoh on streaming, about this next possible solo record, about Jack Boys, Sheck West's new album he's referencing. Let me know all your thoughts on this in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.